Hi, this is Blake Angelos from Yamaha here at AmericanMusical.com to show you the all-new CP series from Yamaha. In front of me here is the CP-80. This is 88-note graded hammer action, synthetic ebony and ivory key tops, and it also has our GH3 sensor, which means that you can restrike the note before it comes off of the key. So this model, we like to say it's for discerning pianists. It feels amazing. When you feel this keyboard, you'll be, ooh, it feels really good. We also have the CP-73. The CP-73 actually has a 73-note E to E action. It uses the balanced hammer action that's similar to the Montage. So it's a lighter action, it's a fast action, it's really nice. We've kind of looked at this as a smaller footprint also for the gigging keyboardists. Now both the CP-88 and CP-73 have exactly the same internal engine and the same outputs and everything. So they're identical internally. The difference is the key action and kind of who we're thinking for this. Gigging keyboardist, pianist. So let's talk about what we have in front of us. Basically, the CP is divided into 4 sections: a piano section, an electric piano section, and a subsection. So the piano section is where all of our acoustic pianos are. Acoustic pianos, uprights, the CP series of electric grands, and some layered pianos are in this section. In the electric piano, we have reed pianos, tine pianos, clavs, and DX FM style sounds. The subsection has things like pads and strings, organs, chromatic percussion, basses. It's kind of where everything else exists. And then over on the far right, you have a master section with analog and digital style delay, so an analog sort of a tape style delay, and then a digital delay, and then a reverb output as well. You also have buttons on the front that allow you to have individual send levels for those master effects. So you can have these two having all tons of reverb and delay, and this one having just a little reverb but no delay. And I'll show some of that as we kind of go through this video. So what does it sound like? Well, let's start out with the grand pianos. So the first piano that I'm going to play here is the CFX. This is our premium 9-foot concert grand. Check it out. So the thing I love about this piano, CFX was kind of designed with a very strong fundamental. The idea being that it's very, very expressive, but because it has a strong fundamental, it has the power to project over a symphony orchestra. It's a very big sounding piano, but at the same time, it's super expressive. It's probably the most versatile piano, I would say. Great for any style of music, from jazz to classical to pop. Now, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna change this CFX sound to the next sound, and you notice when I did that, it didn't cut off the sound. So there's some seamless sound switching all across this instrument. As you move from one sound to another, it doesn't cut out the other sound. So this right here is the Bösendorfer Imperial. First I'll play the CFX real quick. Now I switch to the Bösendorfer. So you notice the sound didn't cut off from the CFX, but this piano is entirely different. The Bösendorfer 290 is actually a full 8-octave keyboard. It goes C to C, which is bigger than a standard 88-note piano. So it has about 8 additional notes to the low end. And what that imparts to the sound is a much more resonant piano, as opposed to, again, the CFX. Here's the Bösendorfer again. So an entirely different piano, still an awesome piano. I can see using this for a multitude of different stuff. The last piano I want to show you is the C7. Now the C7 doesn't actually come in the model when you first buy it. You have to update it to version 1.1, OS version 1.1. This is an important part of the CP, is we have about every 6 months or so, we'll be releasing OS updates that add new sounds to the instrument. OS 1.1 is available at launch for this product. So you have a C7 that's added to this, a new reed piano, and a vintage tine piano that's just amazing. But I'll play the C7 here that's added with version 1.1. So the C7 is probably the most recorded piano in the history of music. And the thing I love about the C7 is that it's very expressive, but when you hit it, It's got a big bite. Great for gospel music, great for country, great for pop. Love this piano. So I'll talk briefly about this section in here. You have volume and tone controls, split, octave up and down, and then you turn on these sections by just touching this switch right here. Turn it on and off. It's pretty cool. Now, each of those sections has a similar control with volume and tone in each section. Where it's different is in places like the damper resonance here. This is for acoustic pianos. We have some effects, and we have the damper pedal resonance that you can turn on and off, which gives you the sympathetic vibrations that when you hold the sustain pedal on a piano, it rings out. But sometimes you may want to defeat that. If you're doing recording, you don't want so much note bloom, you can defeat it right there. So that's pretty cool. Now I'm going to move on over to the electric piano section. The electric piano section has the reed pianos, the tine pianos, the clav sounds, and of course the FM sounds. So I'll start here with this. This is called 73RD. This is more of a felt, kind of a Mark I is what I would say with this one. So I love that great sound. Now you also have these effects over here. The top row of effects gives you auto pan, tremolo, ring modulator, wah. The bottom row of effects gives you VCM, virtual circuitry modeling. It's our technology for doing modeled stomp box effects, phasers, and choruses. So I'll turn on the phaser on this one. Great phaser. If I want to change a sound, I just move through the different phasers by touching this button right here. I want to add an effect to the top of this, maybe turn off the bottom effect, and I'll maybe grab something like tremolo. And I have quick controls to change things like the rate and the depth. Or I can turn it off. That's the beauty of this system, is that it's very fast. You can turn things on. It's a one-to-one interface. One knob does one function. Really fast, really cool. I'll play a couple of the reed pianos here. Here's one that's added in version 1.1. This is called WR Wide. Now with the tremolo, it's awesome. I want to point out one last thing in this section. There's a drive that's been on the whole time. Drive is just kind of preamp drive, and I tend to keep this on all the time. I just like the sound, but you can turn it off if you want, but you can hear the difference between the two. This is with drive off. Now here's with drive on. So it's definitely a different sound when you do that. I love that sound. But sometimes you may not want it on. The last section is the subsection. I won't go into that. You'll have to check that out yourself. Lots of stuff will be out there, to videos and stuff that we're going to do that shows this very complete as well at YamahaSynth.com. Sorry. The very final thing I'd like to show you here is one of the things I love doing with this instrument, and that has to do with the delay lines. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to select a sound. Now there's this area over here that I didn't get into. That's where you can recall sounds. It's called the live set. So I have this one that I call CFX loop layer. What this does is it recalls the entire front panel. So you can work with it by turning things on and off, or you can just turn things on and then save them in this live set for instant recall. So what I want to do here is I'll create a little delay line, and then I'll add things to it, and then I can play the piano over the top because I have those separate sends that I talked about earlier where I don't have to have delay here, and it's pretty cool what happens here. Check it out. So first, sound that I love in the subsection is just this cool guitar sound that's in there, an electric guitar sound. So I'll turn on the delay effect real quick and check it out. I love how you can turn that into a cool glitchy thing at the end. So that's one of the wonderful things I love about this instrument is that interactivity because of that one-to-one interface. So once again, you have the CP-80, 88-note graded weighted hammer action, and the CP-73 with E-to-E balanced hammer action. Keyboardist, pianist. The very last thing I do want to point out are the outputs as well. You have XLR balanced outputs that go to a mixer, so you don't need the direct box. You also have line outputs that you can send to your personal monitor system, so you can hear yourself here, send it to the mixer. It also has the last thing I want to point out is the two-host port that's right over here somewhere. What the two-host port is, it's a USB MIDI and audio connection to the computer, so you can send both MIDI and audio to the connection. So you can send, both MIDI and audio to the computer. What does that mean? That means that you can take the computer to the gig without the use of a audio interface and connect so you can play your virtual instruments and monitor them through the outputs here. It's pretty cool. There's also SoundMondo I want to point out, which is our social sound sharing service. SoundMondo, it's just soundmondo.com. What you can do is you can connect to the computer and you can upload sounds and download sounds that are put up there by our users and artists. We already support Refaced, ModiX, and Montage at SoundMondo. Now we'll be supporting the CP series as well. So that's a brief kind of tour of the CP. Thank you so much for watching at AmericanMusical.com. I'm Blake Angels, Yamaha. Thanks a lot.